Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson-Silik and we've got an exciting show in store for you this week. We're going to take a look at how my archery season has gone so far. I was up in the Thumb last week with camera and bow in hand. You won't want to miss that. Lots of excitement out in the woods on that story. And Jimmy and Jordan have some other exciting outdoor adventures in store for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. We got some really good waterfowl action on this week's episode. Jordan's going to take us out with a couple of kids that do some really good shooting. And then after that, we're going to have a venison recipe for some of you whitetail hunters out there. So lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By G5 Outdoors, makers of the Quest and Prime bows, manufactured and designed in Memphis, Michigan. G5 offers a line of archery bows, broadheads, and accessories. On the web at g5outdoors.com.
To those who say we can't build a healthy economy while protecting the environment, DTE Energy has something to say. We're already doing it. Because you don't get to the forefront of cleaner, efficient energy by talking about it. DTE Energy.
Soaking in the rich tradition of Michigan hunting for over 30 years, Vanguard is proud to sponsor our friends at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
Last week, I was headed over to Bad Axe to do a shooting segment with Randy Brown. While we were planning it out, Randy said, hey, why don't you throw your archery gear in and you're welcome to hunt our property while you're here. Well, I wasn't going to pass up that opportunity. I'd been out to Randy's property before. He and his family hunt there. They've got about 90 acres and it's very well maintained, beautiful land, and they've done a great job managing it for deer. So I jumped at the chance to head out there for a hunt. Now, I've been hunting most all of my life with a bow, and every couple of years I do manage to put a tag on a deer during archery season, but it has been, let's see, I've been in the outdoor television industry for 20 years, and I think in that 20 years, exactly once have I harvested a deer on camera with my bow. So that afternoon we got done with the shooting segment and Randy took me on a tour of the land very quickly to show me a couple of the stands that he thought might be good to see some deer and maybe an easy place to get footage as well. So after checking out a couple of different spots, I realized that the best opportunity for me to video myself shooting something on camera was going to be one of his ground blinds. It was slightly elevated, it had a little food plot off to the left, and then straight out in front there was a nice trail through the woods that seemed like the deer are always crossing there, so I sat up right there. Randy was also sitting out on the land, actually on the other side of the land. He'd be hunting kind of an open area over a big farm ditch where the deer used to cross all the time as well. So that first evening I got settled in with the camera and the crossbow, and it was pretty entertaining. I was able to see lots of different does and fawns working through there, using that trail in the woods and using the food plot as well. Randy and I were texting back and forth, and over on the other side of the land where he was sitting, he was seeing lots of deer. He was sending me footage from his phone, and wouldn't you know it, a bruiser steps out in front of Randy, 70 yards out, too far for his bow, but he got some footage with his cell phone, and even though it's a little bit blurry being on a cell phone and zoomed in, it was pretty cool to see that deer out there in front of Randy. That got us all excited for the following morning. Randy, his wife Arlene, and I all hit the woods hoping to catch another glimpse of that buck. I hunted in the same stand I was in the night before, had the camera on the tripod, had my crossbow in hand, and was waiting. It was starting to look like a repeat of the night before. I was seeing lots of different does and fawns moving through. And then just about the time we were all wrapping it up to call it quits for the morning, I see two bucks headed my way down that trail in the woods. There was a little yearling spike and another one a little bit bigger than him, looked like an 8, maybe a 7 point coming out with him. Now I know Jordan and Gabe make it look so easy when they're sitting up in a tree with a camera and a bow, videoing themselves hunting, but let me tell you something, it is not that easy. I'm in an enclosed blind with the camera on a tripod, and just to be able to get the camera on, get it in focus, get it on the deer, anticipate which way I think they're going to be moving when I take the shot, that's a little more challenging than it looks. So I got everything ready, got dialed in. I already knew that it was about 35 yards out to where these bucks were. Now all I had to do was wait for that little spike to step away, so I had a clean shot at that buck and dialed in the crosshairs on it. I was shooting a 10-point Nitro X crossbow. Those bows shoot at 425 feet per second. That arrow zipped through that buck so fast, I don't think any of us knew what happened out there for a minute. We're just getting ready to call it quits out here this morning. We've got to hit the road and head to another shoot. But yeah, I was just kind of looking around, had kind of given up on seeing any bucks in range this morning. And Randy's got this trail kind of blazed through the woods here. He's done a lot of great work on this land out here, and just a small window of opportunity when they cross through from one side of the woods to the other here, and these two bucks came out and kind of meandered around for just a minute too long, and I was able to get an arrow down there, so we need to go check it out. Randy and Arlene were already on their way to come pick me up, so Arlene grabbed the camera and Randy and I started tracking that deer. Yeah.
Yeah, it bled all the way to the tip. So.
Yeah. Went right through. So I think in the footage you can see it zip through and he kind of kicks it out.
That's awesome.
And takes off. So he went that way.
Shouldn't be going far.
All right.
Let's go see what we can find.
What started out as a good blood trail that looked pretty promising soon fizzled out to nothing. We had no idea which way to go once that deer got into the woods and we lost the blood trail. So we went back, watched the footage again, and the angle that buck was standing, we think that arrow may have just been a hair back from where we wanted it to be. So we decided to back out, give it a few hours, and then head back in and look for him. So we thought we'd give it a few hours, and we're back out here, and we just kind of started doing a search of the area. We've got a red arrow in the quiver, and we've got a white belly on the ground right here. Check it out. These, come on in here and check this out. Look at these. He's got, I don't even think they're, that one might be a split brow. This one's almost got like a little kicker coming off of it, but he's got some character to him. So I'm going to try to flip him over and see where that arrow came out. Right
Yeah.
there. Okay. Yep, so it did the trick. I'm gonna get a tag on him and get him out of here. Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh,
you
that's
and
awesome.
Arlene, for
I'm just
letting me
happy
come
we
out
found it, and it was a great shot. It turned out.
here. Yeah.
I don't know
did.
why it didn't die 20 yards down the trail, but
Yeah.
they're tough. They're
You're
just
good.
a tough animal.
You guys have a great place here, man.
Yeah.
All kinds of deer. It's a fun
There
place
is
to
a
hunt.
lot of deer here, so
Well, thank you.
one
so
less
much.
now.
That's right. So the drought was over. I finally harvested a deer with a bow on camera. It's probably been over 10 years since I've done that. I was pretty pumped for it. Thanks so much to Randy and Arlene for inviting me out and sharing their beautiful land with us. I couldn't be happier. Another happy hunter is Randy and Arlene's son, Kevin. Just about a week after I was there, Kevin found that big buck that Randy videoed with his phone and was able to grunt him into bow range. Congrats to Kevin Brown on a great hunt right here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown, and for our next segment on this week's show, I was down in southern Michigan with a group of first-time waterfowl hunters on a hunt that I'm sure these kids won't soon forget.
Good morning. We're out here in southeastern Michigan. We're on a youth hunt that was donated by Sunrise Waterfowl. As you can see, we have a clear, foggy morning. We have a bunch of new kids in here. I guess we're going to give it a shot and see how good we do today. Now. Reload. What? Here it comes. You ready, guys?
Ready?
Now.
Well, the morning couldn't have started out a whole lot better. We had lots of birds flying around and had plenty of action for these first-time waterfowl hunters. It was all smiles early, and as the morning continued on, the birds just kept coming.
Somebody on the left. Here they come. You ready? You're ready. Up top. Now. Up. Reload. Get down. Reload. Over top of us. Now, up on the top. Good job, Tony. Nice job, nice shooting. Reload, everybody reload because we're getting up again.
And what a great morning. I'm so thankful that we've gotten the opportunity, to have these kids out. We've got 11 geese down so far. I think we've seen over 1,000. It's great for these kids to be able to get out, kind of unplug from their phones and electronics and sit down and do something like this. You know, it's just been a beautiful morning and seeing a lot of geese, and the kids are just having a great time. And you know, you'll be able to see from the smiles on their faces, you know, just how awesome this is for them. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The first time for all of us doing this, so it's been great.
Well, the morning's really good so far. It started out really nice and foggy. Seen a lot of birds so far, but it's gonna be a good day. We already got 11 birds and everything like that. But I just think it's great that our archery team is being able to come out here and do all this nice stuff for the weekend. I have never done waterfowl before. It's pretty fun though, because you never know when something's gonna land. I think it's a little bit better than deer hunting in my opinion.
Incredible, simply incredible. We've probably seen well over 1,000 geese come through already, and they're still flying.
Is that normal for this part of the state, or is that abnormal?
Well, we're getting a good migration coming through, and we got birds. We gotta go. Sorry. It's gonna be me and you. Ready?
Although there were only a handful of us in the blind today, there were lots of people involved in making this hunt possible. One of which was watching from afar and is part of an organization that specializes in creating opportunities just like this one.
Path Foundation roughly started about 20 years ago. Actually, Bob Garner and I helped get it started, and it started very small, and it's now grown to a pretty decent size. We do Make-A-Wish type hunts, but we also help kids get in the outdoors. If we find a kid that can't afford the equipment that wants to start bow hunting or deer hunting, we'll facilitate that. If you've got a parent that hunts or fishes, it's real easy, but if not, it's up to all of us to try and, take one kid a year, teach them how to hunt, take them out a couple times. Otherwise, we're a dwindling population of hunters, and these kids, particularly these kids from the city, they just don't get exposed to it. If you can take kids like this, it'll go a long ways towards getting them in the outdoors permanently.
We ended up with over a dozen geese on this beautiful October morning and saw over 1,000 birds total. Waterfowl hunting can be a difficult activity for kids to get into, so it's nice to see outdoors men and women going above and beyond to help create this opportunity. Thanks to everyone involved in making this hunt possible.
Hey, we are here with Jim Wood at Antlers Fireside Grill, Canadian Lakes. Jim, we got some more venison here today. What are we going to be doing?
We're going to do a really quick dish, perfect for deer camp.
Okay.
It's going to be basically a root vegetable hash. We're just going to use carrots and potatoes in this particular one.
Nice.
And then it's going to go over, on top of that will be venison and port cherry sauce.
Oh, okay.
So
we brown the venison first, or how do we do that?
First, we're going to make the hash.
Okay. Now, is there any kind of technical terms to be in hash? Does it have to have certain things in it, or is it just a combo of whatever you're putting together?
In my opinion, it always needs to have some sort of cured meat and vegetables.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, if it's breakfast, it should probably have eggs in it.
Okay.
So we're just going to saute our onions, get those sweat it down real good. Kind of layer our flavors here. So we'll hit this with salt, and then we'll add our other vegetables to it. Hit that with salt too.
All right.
So these are all par cooked. So we've
Okay.
cooked them about 3/4 of the way. And we're just going to try to give them a little bit of brown. Now that they're back in there, we'll hit those with salt.
And it looks like, is this backstrap or just any kind of steak would work as well, or?
Yeah, this is just venison loin, long loin, so backstrap.
Okay.
But yeah, you could use anything. I mean, if you have some bear lying around, you could use that.
Okay.
This is also a good recipe if you're lucky enough to get pheasant. This sauce goes really well with pheasant. Now we're going to add some bacon.
A lot of the stuff that you do, you're doing right here in one pan. It only takes a few minutes. So just probably getting all the ingredients together probably takes longer than actual cooking of the stuff usually.
Yeah, I mean, and most of the stuff a lot of camps will have. I mean, it's got maple syrup.
Okay.
A lot of camps have that. It's got booze.
Yeah.
I don't know a camp that doesn't have that.
Okay. Soy sauce.
Beef stock. That's balsamic vinegar.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have that at ours, but.
Well, yeah, you should put that in the next meeting minutes. All right, so the hash is basically cooked through.
Okay. Now, if you were using stuff that wasn't already partially cooked, you'd have to just cook that a little bit longer then, or cut the potatoes a little
cut
smaller.
them really small is what I'd recommend.
Next, it's time to cook the venison. Simply add it back to the same pan and cook it about halfway through. Then remove it from the heat, and you're ready for the next step.
Okay, so we've cooked it about half to 3/4 of the way through.
Okay, so you're not trying to get them all the way done.
No, because we're going to warm them back up with sauce, and that's going to cook them a little bit.
Gotcha.
So we're going to take whatever leftover oil is in there, place that in there.
Okay.
And all this brown stuff on the bottom, the French refer to that as fond. This is good stuff. You want that in there, as long as it's not burnt.
That's going to help with the base of our sauce then? There we go.
You've been listening. All right, so once we get that kind of crispy off the pan.
Wow. And what do we got there? Cherries?
So yeah, this is Michigan cherries. They're dried. They've had sitting in port for about an hour.
In port, okay.
Yep. Port's just a fortified wine.
Okay.
So we're going to let this reduce down almost all the way. And then we're going to add our beef stock, and we're going to let that reduce a little bit. Then we're going to add our maple syrup, our balsamic, let that reduce a little bit, swirl in some butter, add our venison back to it, and it's basically done after that.
And that's served alongside of the hash, or is it going to be?
No, we're going to put it right on top of the hash, and that sauce is going to go over it. The cherries and the carrots, the bacon, it all kind of goes together. So this is a seared venison loin with cherry pork sauce and a root vegetable hash.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stay tuned in upcoming weeks here this fall on the show. We've got all sorts of great things headed your way. We'll have more archery deer updates headed your way, and we've got firearm deer season right around the corner, more waterfowling, more recipes, all sorts of exciting things headed your way. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a great way to kind of keep tabs on us. Of course, our website is michiganoutofdoorstv.com. Full episodes of the show there every week. We're also on social media if you're on Instagram or Facebook. And if you're ever on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel there and get an email every time we post something new. Lots of good stuff coming over the next several weeks. Make sure you get out and do some hunting like I'm doing today. It's a great time of the year to be a sportsman here in Michigan. And hey, if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or greenstonefcs.com. By EOTech, a Michigan company, equipping law enforcement and sportsmen alike with quality optics, creating jobs for Michigan workers. On the web at eotechgear.com. By Jay's Sporting Goods, with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's has been serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971, with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jays. On the web at jsportinggoods.com. Closed captioning provided by Randy's Hunting Center, serving Michigan as Ruger and Leupold's National Dealer of the Year, and inventor of Ruger's 450 Bushmaster rifle.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above,